Let's see. Let's see. Okay, we're live on the new stream. The new stream is live. Now what I need to do is the new stream is live, and just hang tight. I got to post about it on our social media. We hit the YouTube stream time limit, so we started a new stream of Iran war coverage on YouTube. Okay. We're good to go. Renee said here and did nothing. I'm glad that worked. So let's get back into everything. It worked. It worked. Somehow it worked. Wow. 86 GOP Forever gave 50 people memberships. 50 people. That is so generous of you. Thanks, 86. 86, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. 50 people. Please thank 86 if you got a membership from them. That was very generous. Thank you so much. And thanks, Ryan, for being a member as well. Ryan 1914. Okay, so just to remind you what happened, it is Monday in the Middle East, and on Sunday, Israel launched some strikes on Beirut, on Hezbollah targets. Iran-supported Hezbollah. Ooh. Hold on, where is this? Where is La Romana, by the way? Hold on. That's not good. That's in the Dominican Republic. There was a plane crash, a business jet crashed in the Dominican Republic. I'll post a link in the chat. For more photos and videos and photos, see Steve's X account. Give me a moment. Sorry, I was going over what happened today, but I need a moment. Okay, so on Sunday, we had Israel launch strikes on Iran-supported Hezbollah in Beirut, Lebanon. That was a huge deal for Iran. Iran had told Israel not to do that. Iran then responded by launching missiles at Israel. Israel then responded with strikes on Iran in various locations, and Iran has been launching more missiles back at Israel. Also, Israel struck an Iranian petrochemical plant. Iran and Israel exchange strikes for first time since April ceasefire. I'll say exchanging. Oh, thanks to Panic You too. Thank you, and thanks for shouting out our moderators. Thanks also Lisa, our member, and thanks Navita for watching on Twitch. Thanks Jack Overson for subscribing on Twitch. Thanks Qbat for subscribing on Twitch. Big Dog Gaming and Kendra Fox for your support. And also Rumsey Bessen on Twitch. Thanks for subscribing. All right, let's get caught up on the latest here. Jen D says, guess Trump didn't get his message through to Bibi. President Trump had said after Iran struck Israel, after Iran fired missiles with Israel, he had said that he did not want Israel to retaliate, but they did. Oh, hold on a second. I have an update about the Hezbollah hacking group. Hezbollah hacking group. Give me a moment here. Remember Iran, it's this hacking group with ties to the Iranian government. And Iran had posted threatening messages on Iranian social media a few hours ago from them. Well, now I'm seeing that Israeli media is saying they might have carried out a cyber attack. Let's see here. Hold on a second here. Hang on. Hold on. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find out if they posted about it. What is going on with the Hezbollah hacking group? All right, here's what Channel 12 is reporting. Channel 12 News Israel reports the Hezbollah hacker group claims to have carried out a cyber attack against the Kfar Yona municipality, which I think is in Israel. Yes, Kfar Yona, Israel. It's a city in which it says led to significant disruptions in the local authorities' service, communication, and management systems. Kfar Yona says all municipal systems and services for residents are operating normally, and no damage to the municipality's activities has been detected. However, there is a malfunction in the interface to the telephone system, which is the responsibility of an external provider. So, again, the long story short, this Iranian-linked hacking group claims to have carried out a cyber attack against a city in Israel. But the city in Israel is saying they're not seeing anything wrong. So I'll have to see if we see anything more about that. True Blunt says classic hack through external. Yeah, according to N12, there is a malfunction in the interface to the city's telephone system, which is the responsibility of an external provider. Iran's Far State media says there were no casualties in Israel's attack on the Karun petrochemical plant. Israel said it carried out an attack on an Iranian petrochemical plant several hours ago. Kimberly Joanne says, is the war over yet? Looks like it's heating up again. Israel's GLZ radio. Since last night, approximately 30 missiles from Iran and 1 missile from Yemen were launched towards Israel. Okay, that is from Israeli military radio, GLZ Doron Kadosh. That is a count of missiles that have been fired since last night from Iran. Approximately 30 missiles from Iran and 1 missile from Yemen launched at Israel since last night. Cap TBJM thinks Iran doesn't have a lot of missiles, or they would shoot hundreds at a time. Oh, and by the way, just to be clear, what Israel said they attacked. So I had seen her on the lane with the petrochemical facility. Where is it? I had reposted something from Israel. Yeah, they attacked. Israel said, their Air Force, that several hours ago they struck several targets in the petrochemical complex in Mashhar in southwestern Iran. EIM says Israeli military says Iran has fired around 30 ballistic missiles at Israel territory today. Crazy. Yes, 30 plus 1 from Yemen. Snarf says Iran is doing bad things. Really quick, just to mention some of the financial stuff here. Man, I have too many things open on my desktop. Give me a moment here. There's way too many things open on my desktop. Why are so many things open? Oil is up close to 5% today. You can see that is Brent crude oil up almost 5%, 97.27. That's from tradingview.com. WTI, US crude up roughly 4.5%. It's at 94.22 right now. I did want to mention, because we talked about this before, this is not related, this is not a war story, but South Korea's Kospi stock index, which has been very volatile, down over 8%. This stock index in a year, if you just look, it's crazy. I mean, it was at around 28, about a year ago, it was around 2,800 something. Then it got up to about, what, 8,800? 8,800. And now it's down to about 7,500. Very volatile. But I wanted to mention that down 8.29%. Market is closed, I believe, for the day there. Bitcoin is at 63,227 right now, as you can see on your screen. Gold is down 0.5% to 43.07, says TradingView. Batman Never Dies thinks there's a hard correction incoming in the Kospi index. Is that what you're saying? Colin Fraser says this is all Israel's doing. Hang on a moment here. Yes, as Chris N said, we talked about that earlier. There was a circuit breaker trip today in South Korea because the stocks went down too much. So I think it was a 20-minute pause. Well, what happened here? What happened here? Hold on. There's just too much. There's too much going on here. Excuse me. Sorry. Too many things open on my desktop. Hang on one moment. Again, I just have to close some things here. A million things open. Too many things open at once. President Trump has still not posted anything about all of this on Truth Social. Nothing. And no public statement. He gave a few interviews, short interviews, hours and hours ago to news outlets, but no public statement about any of this from President Trump. Nothing. Nothing. Bolo Santosi says, kind of seems like nothing is happening. Nothing? Even though we keep seeing missiles fired? I thought you were going to say something was happening because we haven't heard from Trump. Maybe he is asleep. I don't know. Some people are talking about him sleeping. He might be asleep. It's 3:34 Eastern time. No, David Joe Klotz, there's been no statement from Netanyahu. But again, it's now 10:30 a.m. there. So I am not aware that Netanyahu has made a statement yet. Maybe we'll get one soon. Try to get you a little summary here. You can see here, Israel hits Iran petrochemical plant in new strikes after Trump reprimand, says Reuters. Israel said today it hit a petrochemical plant in Iran's southwest, along with strikes elsewhere on military targets, after President Trump reportedly told Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to refrain from further attacks. In the first hit on an energy site inside Iran since the April 8th ceasefire, Israel said it struck targets at the Mashar petrochemical complex, while a provincial official told Iran's semi-official Fars news agency parts of the plant were damaged. Hours earlier, Trump had said new strikes by Iran and Israel would not affect his administration's peace talks with Tehran, adding that Prime Minister Netanyahu doesn't call the shots. Trump has leaned on Israel to stop its attacks in Lebanon to allow room for a deal to end the wider war with Iran, including rebuking Netanyahu with obscenities in a phone call last week, reportedly. However, earlier on Sunday, Israel launched strikes in the Beirut area for the first time since the U.S. announced a truce plan for Lebanon last week. Iran, in response, fired salvos of missiles at Israeli targets in retaliation. But Trump insisted that an agreement to end the wider war remained within reach. It's not going to have any impact on the deal, Trump said, of the Iranian missiles fired at Israel. He told the Financial Times, I call the shots, I call all the shots. He, Netanyahu, doesn't call the shots. A few hours later, Israel's defense forces said they had struck Iranian military targets. Iran's Revolutionary Guard said Israel used air-launched ballistic missiles in its attacks. Israel, according to the Israel's ambassador to the U.S., Iran originally fired 11 ballistic missiles at Israel. Israel then targeted Iran's surface-to-surface missile launch sites and infrastructure facilities. An Israeli official told Reuters that Trump spoke with Netanyahu by telephone from his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey, for a little less than half an hour Sunday. That would be after Iran launched strikes on Israel, but before Israel had retaliated. Trump told Netanyahu during the call to refrain from further strikes because we are close to doing something good in terms of a deal, according to a U.S. official quoted by Axios. Since the start of the talks, Israel has kept up attacks in Lebanon in a conflict with Hezbollah that Israeli officials insist should be treated separately from any Iran ceasefire. Tehran has long said any peace deal with the U.S. would depend on a ceasefire also holding in Lebanon, which Israel invaded in March in pursuit of Iran-backed Hezbollah fighters who fired rockets and drones across the border in solidarity with Tehran. Before Sunday, Iran had not attacked Israel, and I believe Israel had not attacked Iran since the wider war, since the ceasefire started in April. Ryan says, we see how well Bibi listened. Rural Pine Living says, don't know why we call it a ceasefire if they are still firing. Delete Omatic says, I think Israel does not want to stop the war. Paul T says, it seems like Netanyahu continues to undermine Trump at every opportunity. It's time to take a harder stance with Israel, but that will never happen. Also, Axios had reported that Trump told them, I believe it was Barak Ravid, Trump had told Barak Ravid earlier today, I am going to call Bibi right now and tell him not to retaliate against Iran. Each of them had their fun. Israel had its strike and Iran had its strike. We don't need another one. That was before Israel struck at Iran. Also, he told Fox News today, after Iran struck Israel, but before Israel retaliated against Iran, Trump told Fox News, "What I would suggest to Iran, you've shot your missiles, that's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal." Hey, Van Dan. Wow, that's so nice of you. How generous of Daniel Moore Van Dan. Wow. Thank you so much, Daniel Moore Van Dan, for all your support. That's really kind of you. Thank you. And thanks for shouting out the mods as well. I really appreciate it, Dan. Thank you. Van Dan. Diamonds and Henna says, never ending war. What's the point? Old Timer Radio Show says they're not going to make a deal. Here's a headline right now from AP. Look at this. Iran and Israel trade strikes threatening to drag region back to full-scale war. New to this says ceasefire right. Iran and Israel traded fire early Monday in retaliatory strikes that threatened to drag the wider Middle East back into a full-scale regional war, while Yemen's Houthi rebels also fired a missile at Israel and warned they would target Israeli-affiliated ships in the Red Sea. Now, that whole thing with Yemen, they said they were going to close the Red Sea to Israel, but did they mean Israeli-affiliated ships? And how loosely are they understanding that is my question. Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels claimed an attack on Israel and said Israel-affiliated vessels. Now, what do they mean by that exactly? Would again be a target in the Red Sea. See, if they said Israel-affiliated vessels would again be a target in the Red Sea, putting the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden, and the narrow Bab al-Mandeb Strait connected to them in danger. See, my point is this, is that if they just start firing on ships and saying that ship's connected to Israel, even if it's not, then that could go a long way to restricting traffic in the Red Sea. Remember, Iran basically closed the Strait of Hormuz here, keeping shipments from coming out of the Persian Gulf. Here is the Red Sea, and Suez Canal's up here, but a lot of the shipping comes out here, the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. So it'd be a huge deal if they started attacking shipping that was trying to get in and out of the Red Sea this way. But I don't know. I can't tell when they say, we're not letting Israel connected. When they say that Israel-affiliated vessels would be a target, I don't know how that's going to play out. During the Israel-Hamas war in the Gaza Strip, the Houthis killed at least 9 mariners and sunk 4 ships in over 100 attacks, often targeting vessels with tangential or no ties at all to Israel. Those assaults upended shipping in the Red Sea. And those assaults greatly disrupted transits through Egypt's Suez Canal, which links the Red Sea to the Mediterranean. So how much are we going to see the Houthis attack shipping in the Red Sea? That's a good question, an important question. I think I can show you the statement by the Houthis. Okay, here is the statement by the Houthis. Right here. I have it here. I don't know if I'll read the whole thing. Yemeni armed forces have launched a missile salvo targeting sensitive objectives of the Israeli enemy. I think they launched one missile, actually. We declare a complete and total ban on Israeli enemy maritime navigation in the Red Sea. And we consider all enemy movements as military targets for our armed forces from the moment of this statement's announcement. Again, is that like literally Israeli ships or ships that, is that just going to be random ships and they'll just claim they have a connection to Israel? I don't know. They also say we will confront escalation with escalation, and our military operations will be escalating in proportion to the events of the battle and the coordination with the axis of jihad and the resistance. We will not stand idly by, they say, in the face of the unjust siege on our people and the peoples of the axis of jihad and resistance in Palestine, Gaza, Iran, Lebanon, and Iraq. And that all attempts by the enemy will fail by the will of Allah. And our operations will continue as long as the aggression and siege persist against us and against the axis of jihad and resistance. That's from the Houthis in Yemen. That's not Iranian spokesman. That's the Houthi in Yemen spokesman. The Houthis are supported by Iran, but they're in Yemen. The UNQ-80 says this is an act of desperation. Evidence is one missile. When did the most recent barrage of missiles happen? Iran fired some missiles at Israel, I think around 90 minutes ago. By the way, Bloomberg points out that if the Houthis start carrying out attacks in the Red Sea on ships there, that could jeopardize exports from Saudi Arabia's western port of Yanbu. That's where they've been shipping their oil out of, at least most of it, because they can't ship it out of the Persian Gulf now, because Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz. So they've been using a pipeline to send it to Yanbu. Here's Yanbu there. But that's in the Red Sea, next to the Red Sea. Brendan Myers says it was reported earlier that Netanyahu is having a security cabinet meeting in 10 minutes. Yes, you're correct. There had been reporting that he was having a security cabinet meeting at 11 a.m. Israel time. So are we going to be seeing more fighting in the coming days? I have no idea. What now? U.S. stock market opens in about less than 6 hours. If you're wondering, the futures right now, Dow futures very slightly down, 0.1. About Dow futures are about even. NASDAQ futures down about, it's like about 2 or, is that right? Hold on a second. No, not down. NASDAQ futures are a bit up. NASDAQ futures are up about 0.6% or so, it looks like. NASDAQ futures are up. Am I right about this? Hold on a second. Let's see here. Looks like they're up about 270 points, which would be about 0.8 or 0.9%. Anyways, and yes, those are up a bit. S&P 500 futures are up a bit, maybe about 0.4%. Oh, hey guys, here's an update from Israel. Look at this. Israel just posted a little video clip, little video from Israel. They just posted this. The IDF completed a large-scale strike on strategic defense systems belonging to the Iranian terror regime. Recently, defense systems were deployed across Iran to restore the regime's capabilities degraded during Operation Roaring Lion. The strike led to the dismantling of these systems. You wonder if maybe that strike was to prepare for other strikes, possibly. I've seen some people wondering about that. I don't know when during the last day those were. They're not saying it was 5 minutes ago. Okay, so I just wanted to mention they were claiming that. Dr. McRib says Netanyahu needs to project strength to his voters. Nope, Trump still has not posted. Ynet, which is an Israeli news outlet, is reporting they claim that the IDF has approved expanded Iran strike plans and is bracing for days of fighting. David Joe Klotz says Trump is not weak, he's a courageous president. What do I make of the fact that Trump hasn't posted anything? I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I feel like normally he would have posted something. But, I mean, it is 4 in the morning, so. But it wasn't 4 in the morning before. Oh, I think there might be a new statement from the IRGC. Hold on. I don't know. I'm looking. AFP says the death toll from the 7.8 magnitude in the southern earthquake in the southern Philippines rises to 15. AFP said the earthquake caused buildings to collapse and sparked tsunami warnings. I have not heard about the tsunamis in the Philippines at this point. So I have to wait and see. There was a 2.7-foot one in Indonesia. There was Pacific Tsunami Warning Center said there could be 3-meter or more tsunami waves in Philippines, but I haven't heard reports of that yet. AFP says videos posted to social media and verified by AFP showed a shopping center with a Jollibee fast food restaurant reduced to rubble in General Santos City. AFP says earthquakes are a near daily occurrence in the Philippines, which is situated on the Pacific Ring of Fire, an arc of intense seismic activity stretching from Japan through Southeast Asia and across the Pacific Basin. I am checking for updates here. I don't know. I have to figure out how we're doing this because there. I mean, we're when it's like this, stuff could just happen at any time. We've been on the air. I think we're approaching 13 hours. So at some point I'll have to take a break, but I'll have to figure out, how do I deal with it? Because I just don't know when anything's going to happen. It's been less intense the last few hours. Paula Nitz says when Trump doesn't post, he's up to something. That very well could be true. Maybe he's been talking with Netanyahu and talking to other Middle Eastern countries. Thank you, VF9E, for being a member, and the Ringa X for being a member, and Silent Josine for being a member. And I don't know, there could be missiles fired soon or not. I have no idea. There's been 30 missiles fired by Iran since last night, and one from Yemen. Our viewer Anna DHZ says, "Hope it's no new strikes. Hate this is happening. Praying for both sides." Missiles fired soon or not? I have no idea. Mac McDowell says Trump will post at like 7 a.m. Eastern. Heli Pilot says Trump started this. Now it's time to end it. A deal is the worst outcome for the Middle East. Oh, hold on a second. Shin reports a huge blast in western Tehran. That is from Shin, who I follow for Iran reports. He says, huge blast in western Tehran. About a minute ago, he said that. Is this another Israeli strike? I haven't heard any other reports of that yet. I'm looking. Again, Shin says huge blast in western Tehran. Shin says it was also heard in Ret in southern Tehran. Barry says that's not good. I have no other reporting on that. Yet. Are there more Israeli airstrikes going on right now? There could be. We'll wait and see what we hear. There's an unconfirmed report from Ali BK claiming that the Ashura Aerospace University was hit. It's affiliated with the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. I cannot confirm that. Mer News says all flights in Shiraz Shahid Ayatollah Dastagab Airport in Shiraz, Iran, have been canceled until 8 p.m. tonight. Iranian airspace in western Iran has been closed. Number of airports have been temporarily closed. That airport in Shiraz is the main international airport of Fars province. But that is now closed until 8 p.m. tonight. Now, what's happening with breaking news? Iran state media confirms explosion heard in West Tehran. Confirmation on that being heard by Iran state media, Fars. Here you go. Explosion heard in West Tehran. The exact location and origin is still unknown. Air defenses were activated in some parts of Tehran. Hang on a second here. So they said, explosion heard in West Tehran. The exact location, the origin is still unknown. At the same time, air defenses were activated in some parts of Tehran. Additional news will be announced later. So what is happening there? Let's see if we can find out more. Guys, just give me, I need about 10 seconds. Give me about 10 seconds. Hang on 1 second here. But let me actually put on the screen here. Explosion reported in Tehran. Hold on. in West Tehran, they said. Trying to get you more information. If there's more strikes happening. Shin says now, 3 minutes ago, Shin says air defense activity over eastern Tehran. That's according to Shin. Oop, I don't know if that got deleted. Yeah, Shin says anti-aircraft activity over eastern Tehran in Tehran province. That was about 5 minutes ago. So what is going on? Are there more Israeli strikes going on? Are we having more Israeli strikes? I've seen a couple unconfirmed reports online of possible explosions elsewhere in Iran, like Isfahan. I'm not sure if that's true. Yes, N12's Asaf Rosenzweig report on attacks in Isfahan, Iran. Possible attacks going on now in Iran. N12 News says report of an attack on the Aerospace University linked to the Revolutionary Guards in Iran. That's N12 News Israel. Now, I read you an unconfirmed report of that too earlier. So again, N12 News, Asaf Rosenzweig says, report of an attack on the Aerospace University linked to the Revolutionary Guards in Tehran. Also, unconfirmed reports, Asaf Rosenzweig of N12 News says attacks also in the city of Ri in Kermanshah. Mer News claims that a hostile drone belonging to the U.S.-Israel enemy has been destroyed in the skies over Tehran. That is from Mer News, Iranian state media. They claim that. I cannot confirm that. Mer News said also explosions heard in Isfahan. That's also from Iran state media. Explosions heard in Isfahan. They say, according to a Mer reporter, a hostile drone belonging to the U.S. Zionist enemy was targeted and destroyed by air defenses in the skies over Tehran. I don't know if that's true. Uh-oh. Oh, I have an update. This is what Erna says. Now, it's talking about what happened about 17 minutes ago in Iran, which would have been 11:33 Iran time. At 11:33 today, about 17 minutes ago Iran time, a terrifying sound was heard in Tehran. The sound was heard most intensely in western Tehran, but citizens in central Tehran also heard it. The origin of the sound is still unknown. As minutes pass, continuous defensive firing can be heard in central Tehran. That is from Iranian state media. Trying to figure out what the nature is of these attacks being reported. Noam Amir of Channel 14 Israel says reports in Iran about an attack in several locations across the country, including in Tehran. Yeah, Iran is a half hour ahead of Israel. 11:53 there. Shin, I've seen a couple of unconfirmed reports of this. Shin, who I follow, says Iran's Revolutionary Guard Aerospace Forces Ashura University has reportedly been targeted in southwestern Tehran. We've heard this report a couple times. This one right here from different outlets or sources. Hey, thanks to Peasy Wheats for being a for the gift membership. Peasy Wheats, that's really nice of you. Thanks, Bob Knuth, for your support. Thank you so much, Bob. Thanks, Waybe, our member. Thanks, Tom Hosty, who says U.S. $1 trillion budget and ran out of ammo. I'm not aware they've run out of ammo, Tom. I haven't heard that report. But thank you, Tom Hosty. There's talk about that they possibly are running low on certain things. There's been an article about that, like interceptors. But maybe that's what you're talking about. Thank you, Tom Hosty. Thanks also to VF9E for being a member. And hold on a moment here. Naya, which is an account I follow, which reports on Iran stuff, they claim that there's been an attack on a Basij checkpoint in Kabudharang in Hamadan province. I cannot confirm there's been an attack there. That would be in western Iran. There's Hamadan province there. I do not know if there's been an attack there. Sorry, I'm looking around for updates here. I'm getting a bit towards, I think, the end of my energy amount here. It's tough. We've been on a while. We've been on about 13 hours now. I mean, stuff is happening, you know? Ruth says same. Thanks to Ruth and all of our other mods. Trey Yingst from Fox News says a new wave of strikes reported in Iran. Explosions heard in Tehran. Yes, it's a marathon, not a sprint, X1011 says. This could go on for days. I would like to get you some more information about these, what we're hearing about these new strikes in Iran. Al Hadath, which is a Middle Eastern news outlet, they say there are reports, unconfirmed, of Shiraz airport in Iran being subjected to shelling. There are reports, unconfirmed, of airstrikes in Isfahan, Ray City, and Kermanshah. There are reports, unconfirmed, of the University of Aeronautics and Space affiliated with the Iran Revolutionary Guard in Tehran being targeted. Maybe we'll hear something from Israel confirming this soon. Katie says, I'm pretty sure the U.S. is involved in the strikes. That's what Katie says. Mayor News. Mayor News says no explosions have occurred in Isfahan. Mayor News says, this is Iranian state media. No explosions have occurred in Isfahan. Some users on social media reported hearing the sound of an explosion in Isfahan. According to Mayor's follow-up, no explosions have occurred in Isfahan in the last hour. Of course, an explosion was reported this morning at a point in Najafabad. Again, nothing confirmed yet by Israel about new strikes in Iran. Just see if we get any more information about what's going on. Excuse me. It's all right. Hey, thanks to Peasy Wheats and Texas Jack for being members. Peasy Wheats, thanks for the gift membership. I think we're getting pretty close to where I'm going to have to get some rest, unfortunately. We're getting close to the time where I can't go on longer. Now, Shin also says in Gaza, likely a targeted assassination. Look at this. Shin says, drone strike reported in Deir al-Balah, is that what it is? Gaza, highly likely a targeted assassination. Again, Gaza, not Iran. Let's see if I see any other reports coming out of Gaza. By the way, if you want an example of why you don't often see photos of fighting coming out of Iran, here's something that Iran state media posted. Just as an example, they just posted this. They said, military and security expert says, taking photos of bombing sites and publishing them is not simple recklessness. It is direct aid to the enemy. In the fourth war, we have not yet abandoned this dangerous behavior. We ourselves, with our own hands, are making our country appear defenseless, disorganized, and unprotected. No sane country in the middle of a war would disclose field information, the extent of damage, the location of hits, and its weaknesses to the enemy. Please do not take pictures. Do not publish. Do not republish. This is being posted on Iranian state media. In war, field silence is part of national defense. Barry says same thing happens with Israel and the GCC countries. They're certainly not the only country that doesn't want people posting stuff. I mean, Gulf countries have posted similar sounding messages that I've seen. But if you're wondering, that's one reason why you don't see lots of people, aside from the internet not working well, but you can see that presumably you run a risk significant risk if you're taking pictures of stuff there from the war and posting it. Tony Chin says people in Bahrain and UAE literally got thrown in jail over sharing videos. Yeah, I know cases where I would have to go back and look at them, where in Gulf countries they talk about people getting jailed. And I don't remember the exact details, but I know several of them have involved, at least in part, people posting videos. I don't want to get their policy wrong by misrepresenting it, but they tend to keep a pretty tight control on these things in a number of the Gulf countries. Tasnim has an update. Look at this. Tasnim says a point in where'd it go? You can't see it now. Tasnim talks about another attack in Iran. Iranian state media Tasnim. This is Kabu Darahang in Hamadan province in western Iran. A point in Kabu Darahang was attacked by the enemy. Fortunately, Israel's attack did not result in any casualties, they say. Currently, security in the province is fully established and there is no need to worry. Naya, who I follow, claims several Israeli drones were shot down over Tehran. I don't know if that's true. I have no idea if that's true. Oh, Shin just said explosion sound in Western Tehran now. Shin just posted that. Explosion sound in Western Tehran now. It's possible we have some strikes going on now. I don't know. But we've heard about reports of strikes in Iran the last half hour or so. Excuse me. Wow. AP says just before noon, Iran time, which is like 15 minutes ago, air defense systems around Tehran and multiple Iranian cities opened fire with some claims of attacks ongoing. AP says at least 19 dead in the Philippines earthquake, 7.8 earthquake. There's a damaged building right there. I think that's the one with the Jolly Bee in it. Some other video, I think, of that building. Waves of 1 meter were generally monitored in the provinces of Sultan Kudarat and Sarangani. A 4.6 foot, 1.4 meter wave was monitored at one time in the coastal area of Kiamba town and Sarangani. That's according to the director of the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. Sarangani is in the Philippines. So he said a 4.6 foot wave was observed in the Philippines. Yeah, it seems like there's possibly new strikes going on, but I haven't seen anything confirmed. No confirmation from Israel that I've seen. Let me just need to take about 2 minutes here. Give me about 2 minutes. We're not done quite yet. Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to disappear for 2 minutes. Hang on. Thank you for your patience. We are still live. There are possibly strikes going on in Iran by Israel, a new wave of strikes. We've been telling you some of the reports about this. I haven't seen anything officially about this, but that seems to be what's going on at the moment. We're hearing different reports from different places in Iran. Iranian state media says no hits or collisions have occurred at Shiraz airport. Kermanshah airport has been closed for the time being, says Iran state media. Which, I mean, it makes sense because, I mean, Western Iran, the airspace is closed. There's Kermanshah International Airport. But Iran state media says following the closure of the western skies of the country, flights at Kermanshah International Airport have also been suspended for the time being. So I think what I might start doing here is I might start doing some of the things I normally do at the end of the stream, but I can still keep an eye on what's going on. But let me say a couple thank yous and stuff. Kind of just start the process, as it is 4:57 a.m. here. So while we're doing this stuff, I'll keep an eye out for updates and give you more updates. I do appreciate everybody who's been watching the stream today. We have been on for a while. But I mean, it's one of these things where new news keeps happening. Are we going to see days of hostilities between Israel and Iran? I don't know. I have no idea. But I got to take a little rest. Will they attack Qatar, says Bill Al-Khan. I don't know if this is going to spread to other countries, if Iran's going to launch strikes in other countries. So who knows? That the UN Q80 thinks it's going to be weeks. Yeah, so I have no idea. I mean, this is one of these things where I'd like to stay on and keep following what's happening, but I got to get a bit of sleep, bit of rest. But we'll have to see. But I really appreciate people tuning in. By the way, I will post on my X account when I'm not on the air. So when we're not on the air, you can follow me over there at Lookner on X. I post all kinds of updates there. So follow me over there. But I would suggest, if you want, you can subscribe, follow this channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. I'd recommend turning on our notifications. I never know when big news is going to happen. I could get off the air and then 10 minutes later something huge happens and I have to rush back on the air. You never know. So if you want to get a notification whenever we go live, it's really reliable. It's free. Sign up to our Discord notifications. They work great. Best way to get notified. And the mods will post a link to that in the chat. You can find a link to sign up for the notifications in the description of this video on YouTube and Facebook as well. So I would suggest doing that. But I also really appreciate people have been sending me updates all night, letting me know what you're hearing, letting me read your comments and questions on the air, and appreciate all of your input. Oh, Manny Fabian, by the way, let me show you this from Manny Fabian. He's with Times of Israel. Good person to follow for Israel stuff. Very good person to follow. At Manny Fabian. So Manny reports the Israeli military says it is prepared for at least a few more days of fighting against Iran and potentially a full resumption of the war. The IDF believes that the fighting will continue for several days, but says it is also ready for a lengthy conflict. So far since last night, Iran has launched at least 20 ballistic missiles at Israel, which the military says were intercepted or hit open areas. GLZ radio said they heard 30 missiles. In addition, the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen, the Houthis in Yemen fired 2 ballistic missiles at Israel this morning. One of the missiles was intercepted, IDF said, while the second failed to reach the country. So the Israeli military is saying Houthis in Yemen fired 2 missiles at Israel. Israel has so far carried out 2 waves of strikes in Iran in response to the ballistic missile attacks. Overnight, dozens of Israeli Air Force fighter jets struck 9 Iranian air defense systems. They went after air defense. Maybe that is what you do before you go do other strikes. Would make sense, so we'll see. But they struck 9 Iranian air defense systems in western and central Iran. And this morning, the IAF struck 3 factories at a petrochemical complex in southwest Iran. Okay, so the Israeli Air Force struck 3 factories at a petrochemical complex in southwest Iran. The military says the strikes are only being carried out by Israel, but there is, quote, full coordination with the U.S. Central Command. The American military has also participated in the interceptions of missiles fired by Iran at Israel. Meanwhile, the IDF Chief of Staff has spoken with his counterpart, CENTCOM Chief Brad Cooper, 3 times, according to the military. That's from update from Manny Fabian with Times of Israel. You can follow him at Manny Fabian. What a day. What a 16 hours or so. Well, I think basically it's been around probably, about 20 hours since they attacked, since Israel launched strikes in Beirut. All right, give me a moment here. Crazy day, says Barry. President Trump still has not posted. Maybe he'll post in the morning. Somebody said he'll post at 7 a.m. Maybe he's sleeping for a bit and he'll post when he wakes up. No posts about this at all by President Trump. We need to shout out our moderators. Incredible. Our moderators are incredible. We've had moderators here the whole night, whole day and whole night. So I want to shout them out because they're so great and they allow us to have chat rooms. We couldn't have it without our mods. So I really appreciate all of them being here, especially for such a long stream. Ruth is still moderating. Wow, incredible. Thank you so much, Ruth. Donnie Davia is over there on YouTube. Thank you. And all of our YouTube moderators we had earlier. A bunch have been in and out. Zillon, our viewer, says, is it safe to say the ceasefire is over? We'll see. Is the U.S. going to just continue to say there's a ceasefire? Over on Twitch, Our moderators there, people like Bastion Girl, Cerrero, LB Prairie Dawn, Idaho Star, I Got That Fire, Certainly Dev, and all of our other Twitch moderators. Huge thanks. Speaking of Twitch, I have to thank somebody in a second. I owe a thank you, another thank you on Twitch, which I'll thank in a second. But let me finish thanking our moderators. On Facebook, Charlotte Webb. Paul Anderson has been over there. All of our other Facebook mods who've been there tonight, thank you. Oh, thanks to Dolly Clark for the Facebook stars. That's nice of you, Dolly. Thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha moderate for us on X. Again, just a huge thank you to all of our moderators for being here. It's so nice of you and such a big help in our chats. We might, I mean, it's possible that when I get some sleep and wake up, I'll just come right back on the air. If this is going to go on for several days, that's probably what's going to happen. Hey, thanks also. I owe a thank you to The Bird Abides on Twitch, who thinks Israel does not want a deal between the U.S. and Iran. All that Israel has to do to extend the war is launch a small attack against Lebanon. This inflames Iran to react. Unless Trump can control Israel, this may draw on for a while. That's what our viewer, The Bird Abides, says. Thanks, The Bird Abides, for your support. Thanks also Magna Carta USA and Crypto King, both of you, for shouting out the mods and for supporting the channel. The Watcher for being a member. Express Investing. And Crypto King again. Thank you for your support. Thanks everybody for supporting the channel there today. So nice of you. All of our viewers, people like Van Dan, 86 GOP, and who else? Louis R. And I think I thanked everybody earlier. So, but that's what allows the channel to exist, is your support. So that's really kind of you. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm looking here for more updates too. But I'll keep an eye. I mean, if there's something really, really huge, I can just come back on the air and do another stream. But at this point, we're hearing of periodic possible new attacks in Iran. Hey, also another way to find out when we're live, if you're on X, you can follow us on X at Agenda Free TV. I always post there before we go live. I post updates about the channel there, so at Agenda Free TV on X. We do have a chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not live, our Discord chat. It is free. A bunch of our viewers like doing the Discord chat. Check it out. It's the same link as the free notifications link. Check out the Discord chat. Oh, is Danny here too? I think Danny James might be here modding too. Thanks, Danny. Thanks also to Jojo777 for being a member. And Sean6797 for being a member. I did want to mention also, thanks to our Discord mods who help out in our Discord chat. Really appreciate you, Discord mods. Also, if you watch on YouTube, I would suggest turn on the YouTube notifications. It's another way you can find out when we're on the air if you're over on YouTube. The way to do that on YouTube is, oops. Take this off. You want to subscribe to the channel and then click the bell and choose all notifications. If you're already subscribed, make sure you have the bell checked and you've chosen all notifications. I also want to thank some other people, our Facebook subscribers, like Dolly Clark and Susan Priest-Buchner, Diane Allworth, Michael Clayton, K. Larry Body, and all of our subscribers over there. Our Twitch subscribers, thank you so much. Hugh J, Wall Street Shaggy, Mr. Mac, My Florida. Battle Him Finn, Steve God. All of our other Twitch subscribers, huge thank you. And our YouTube members, Stephen Parmy, Confidence in God, ELM 207, Crypto King, Alex Will, Janet B, CAC, Paula Faust, Elijah Denton, Ken Lance, Confidence in God. Oh, Janet B, thank you again, Janet B, for being a member and a moderator. I missed that before. No, not a member. A member, Janet B. Janet B is a member. Thank you so much, Janet B. Janet B has moderated before. Thank you for that, Janet B, as well. Thanks for being a member, Janet B. Joe South Oz, thanks for being a member. And Crypto King. And Sean6797. And did I say Paula Faust? And Etimia. All right, let me just see if I see anything else. I apologize for whatever I missed while resting. Unfortunately, when it's like this, when it's kind of round the clock, you're gonna miss some things. N12 News Israel says, so far Iran has launched 22 to 24 missiles and the Houthis 2 missiles. The Americans are helping to intercept the missiles. Of all there haven't been any missiles that did a lot of damage from what I remember. There was some damage to a few houses in the West Bank, I think it was. If I remember that. Was it the West Bank or Northern Israel? Now I'm not sure. But a few houses in Israel got damaged, but there hasn't been some kind of major incident with any of the Iranian missiles at this point. Carlo Aguilar said no major alerts on Arab countries. We haven't done that. Yeah. There might have been something fired at Saudi Arabia at one point. Saudi Arabia had a brief alert and then it stopped. But aside from that, they've been firing at each other, and Israel and Iran hasn't been firing at other countries. Enigmatic says, I certainly miss normal. Thanks, David Brontoberger, for watching. Kyle Swager. Oh, by the way, this is Jerusalem camera went off the air. So this is no longer Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. It's just Tel Aviv. Sorry, I forgot to update that. Thank you, Roll Clones, for watching. Medallion for watching. Vicky Carson. Sabala Reamer. Karen Renee Bronson. I think it's time for a break. We're probably at, what are we now? Yeah, we're more than 13 and a half hours, I believe. Joe Dully, thanks for watching. Yes, President Trump is supposed to go to the Knicks game tonight. Yeah, so again, I'm going to take a break, and if there happens to be something huge, I can always come on the air. Al Jazeera says Israeli army radio citing a source says the army is continuing Operation Lion's Roar after a 2 months pause, and we have an opportunity to consolidate our achievements. Thank you, Paps, for being here. Our viewer Joel says war is brewing. Thank you, Sparkplug, for watching. David Joe Klotz. And again, a number of journalists like Manny Fabian and Amit Siegel are saying that the military says in Israel they are preparing for at least several days of fighting. So it's very possible that the next stream, I'll get some rest, and the next stream will just come on and cover more of this. We'll see how things develop. I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you again so much to all of our moderators, and thanks to all of you for being here. I'm hoping that these hostilities can settle down and that people stay safe. But certainly ramped up since yesterday. These days of war says Trump's close to a deal. We'll see what President Trump says when he posts, or when he makes some sort of announcement or something. All right, so that's it for now. We're going to be, I'm sure, doing more coverage of this. I'm going to try to get off the air and get some rest now. We'll see how that goes, depending on what happens. I'm sorry for anything I miss, but if there's something big enough, I'll do my best to get back on the air. All right, so that's it for now. We have been covering live the Israel and Iran exchanging strikes for the first time since early April, since the ceasefire. Last check on the oil markets, real quick. Brent crude up about 4.68% today at 97.13, according to TradingView.com. WTI US crude 94.53, up about 4.77%. And in terms of the stock futures, just eyeballing it here, the Dow futures are down slightly, like 0.2%. S&P futures are up very slightly, maybe 0.4% up, 0.4%, not very slightly, but less than 0.5%. And NASDAQ futures are down by about are they down? No, they're up. NASDAQ futures are up by about 0.6% or something. So markets open in about 4 hours and 10 minutes, stock market. Okay. Hey, thanks also to Kurt Hensley as well. That's really nice of you, Kurt Hensley. Thank you. I appreciate that. Also, DL Vids. Thanks for being a member, DL Vids. and Infinite Possibilities, thank you for being a member. All right, I'm doing one last check here to see. I want to make sure I don't miss anything new, but you never know. There can be all this stuff that happens right when I get off the air. Hard to time it. You don't know when things are going to happen. But if it's big enough, I'll come back on the air. Harper Ann, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Mr. QQQ Crash. For Jesus 1981. Deb N. Michelle Batten. Voravut Ingo Suwan. All right. Speedball, thanks for watching. I think we're gonna try to wrap it up. We're gonna try to wrap it up. We're gonna try to get some rest. I don't know how this is gonna go. We'll just have to see how things go. I don't know. All right, guys. So that's it for now. You've been watching our live coverage here of the situation in the Middle East, and we will. Let's see. What's this one thing here? And we will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.